to face the fire with a development from Dunedin is Charles from TGC.
Charles, welcome along to The Deal.
G'day Ed, nice to see you.
Now, you're joining us from Dunedin in the southern city. What makes you think that Dunedin might have the best investment opportunities for our investors?
Look, Dunedin's always performed above all other major centres when it comes to yield, so I think what we can offer in the current market is some really strong yields in a tight cash flow environment.
Okay, and my favourite question, of the three deal makers you're going to talk to today, who do you anticipate will be the toughest and who do you think is going to be the tamest?
Oh, I think Mickey's going to be the tamest, but I'm a little bit nervous about Vanessa.
And what makes you most nervous about Vanessa, the gatekeeper?
Look, I think it's just the fact that she's new to the show. I haven't seen her before, so I'm just nervous about what she might ask.
Well, good luck, Charles. Let's see if you can make a deal.
Thanks very much, Ed.
A confident start from this self-assured builder from the south. But will Charles get the deal he's chasing, or will he choke in front of our three tough deal makers? Remember, if 2 out of 3 deal makers say yes to the deal, then you at home will have the chance to invest in Charles' development. This is The Deal.
Hello deal makers, my name's Charles Blair from TGC Homes in Dunedin. TGC Homes has been developing property in Dunedin for 7 years now. In that time, we've delivered 94 homes. Sorry.
A slow start, but can Charles charge back?
Of all the homes we've brought to market, none of them have had a location as good as what I'm going to show you today. Perched on top of the hill, just 800 metres from the Dunedin CBD, these homes enjoy all-day sun and stunning views over the city and harbour. Dunedin also has a chronic shortage of short-term visitor accommodation, resulting in visitors often having to stay in small towns up to an hour out of the city when large events like rugby games, graduations and concerts are on at the city. These homes that we're presenting to you today are consented for short-term visitor accommodation and offer estimated yields ranging between 9 and 13%. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I present to you 9 Grant Street, Dunedin Central.
These are the first properties in Dunedin to ever appear on The Deal. But will our deal makers be impressed? Let's find out.
The development as a whole consists of 11 townhouses with 2 different floor layouts. Lots 1 and 2 of the development are the best homes by far. They're accessed directly off Grant Street and offer 2-car garaging, 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Lots 3 to 11 are all 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes with a single off-street car park. All of the homes in this development have guaranteed rental yields. That's something we offer at TGC, and they're priced at a 5% gross rental yield. Lots 1 and 2, because they're significantly better homes and higher spec, operate slightly lower with estimated rental yields at 4.5%. Deal makers, I now invite you for any questions about the development.
Charles, I missed that part about the 4.5% yield. What was that about?
Yes, so the first 2 homes, lots 1 and 2 here, are the best homes by far and are priced significantly higher. They're priced at $865,000 each, and they have a guaranteed rental of $750 a week. So because they're more desirable, they have better views, they've got double car garaging, they're being sold at a slightly lower yield, being 4.5%.
Okay, and I want to dig into this rental guarantee because we're seeing a lot of this at the moment. So developers wanting to move stock that maybe isn't a good investment, so they offer a rental guarantee. How does the rental guarantee work here and why have you done it?
Yeah, so TGC Homes, we've always offered a rental guarantee for our properties. And the reason for that is because we're just a small player in a small southern centre that is competing with property developers across the country. So we just offer it there to remove any hesitation buyers might have about investing in a smaller centre. And as well, what we often find when buyers come to us in Dunedin is that they're initially quite shocked at the rental rates and the prices of the homes that we get, because Dunedin's actually New Zealand's 3rd most unaffordable centre to live in.
Based on what?
Based on median income and average house prices.
Okay, so with the rental guarantee, they have to use your property management firm or what property management firm?
No, with the rental guarantee, there are some conditions around it, but we allow anyone to manage it. So we don't want to, inhibit anybody that might want to manage themselves because cash flow is tight at the moment. So we literally let anybody manage the properties, but we do limit the rental guarantee to 6 weeks of vacancy a year. And in the current market, we think that's more than reasonable.
So let me get this straight. I sign up for one of these properties. I want to manage it myself. I can't find a tenant for 5 weeks. You'll cover the 5 weeks.
Correct.
And then if I find someone at $400 a week only,
Yep.
you'll top me up for the entire year?
Correct. And then at the anniversary of that lease, we then get an updated rental. We then get your updated lease with hopefully a rent increase in there, and then we top you up again for the next 12 months as well.
So it's for 2 years.
Correct.
And then how much more am I paying for this product to get that guarantee?
So the guarantee is on all of the homes.
Yeah, I know, I
Yeah.
get that, but I'm surely paying for it one way or another. Developers aren't Mother Teresa, they're not doing this for free. What am I paying? What's built into the price? How much extra margin to be able to give me that guarantee?
Yeah, look, we honestly, hand on heart, are saying there's not an extra cost in there for that. We believe that what we have is a great product, but we are very realistic that we are competing across the country with a whole lot of developers and a whole lot of investment stock that is bigger than us. So we just want to convince people that it's a great opportunity to come down to Dunedin.
Is it lipstick on a pig?
What? No.
Front units 865.
5? Yep.
Talk to me about the car park prices.
Yeah, so the units behind lots 3 to 11, so they're priced from 669. 669 is the price on lot 3 specifically, because it's sort of wedged in here a little bit behind lots 1 and 2, and then everything else is 676,000.
And the rents?
The rents are guaranteed at $650 a week.
Talk to me about the double garages in units 1 and 2. They look like singles to me.
Yeah, and that's correct. So they do have a single garage door onto the street front, but they are 9 metres deep, giving you enough room to park 2 cars bumper to bumper.
So tandems.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I going to get students as my tenants for this?
Unlikely in this area of Dunedin. The student quarter is typically located in North Dunedin, around Northeast Valley and this university campus. This is sort of south of the Octagon, up on the hills. So it is always a possibility that you will get a student, but it would be a senior student or somebody with money essentially to come in and rent one of these.
Charles, you said there's 11 units?
Yep.
And you've done 94 in total?
Yes.
So this is your quota for the year?
No, this isn't our quota for the year. No, we've been scaling up. Of those 94 homes that we've built, 52 of them were delivered last year, and we've currently got 33 homes in design and 33 homes under construction and about 40 homes in design. So the Dunedin property market is still performing very well. I don't know if you saw in the latest CoreLogic house price index that it has had the highest gain over the last 12 months in New Zealand. And yeah, we're still scaling up.
Is that why it's overvalued now?
Sorry?
Is that why it's overvalued now?
This development in specifically,
no,
or
this.
the housing?
Dunedin at the moment is overvalued based on our model.
Yeah, so sorry, I don't really know what to say that.
A stumble like that won't impress the Prince of Property.
I guess what I'd say to that comment is that, in your model it may be overvalued, but the reality is properties are still moving on a daily basis in the city. So, the market is the market.
How many? How many are moving?
How many?
Yeah, transactions last month, for example.
I don't actually know the number off the top of my head. I'd have to come back to you on that one, sorry.
So they're moving, but you don't know the number?
Yes.
A feeling. Charles, I want to understand the layout of these units.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you come up with it?
So layout in Dunedin, whenever we come to a site in Dunedin, is a lot of the time dictated by the topography of the site. This site here is a reasonably flat site on the crest of a hill, but it is still on the crest of the hill, so it has some excavation that's required. So these homes at the front here, you typically aren't usually allowed driveway garage access directly backing out onto the street like that, but there are garages there at the moment, so we had existing use rights to do that. And then from there, we really want to just get up and get the elevation so that we've got great views and sun for everybody. So we've gone up 2 levels there on the front, and then out the back here, lots 3 to 11. There, whilst they look like 2-storey homes, well, you can see here on this other render here, they are actually 3-storey homes. So you enter the home, your car park, and where you enter the home is at the ground floor, and then you go downstairs and you've got the main bathroom of the house with another bedroom opening out onto a patio. At your kitchen, dining and living area, you've got a northern facing balcony, and then you go upstairs and you've got a large master bedroom with its own study, built-in wardrobe and ensuite.
Charles,
Yes.
who are you?
Who are we? TGC?
No, who are you?
Myself?
Yeah. Who are you? What's your background?
Yeah. So I'm Charles. I'm one of the 3 directors of TGC Homes. I'm an accountant by trade, and I basically do all of the finance, legal, marketing and back office functions of TGC Homes. My business partner Tom is a builder by trade, and he runs all of the operations. And my third business partner, George, he is an engineer by trade and does most of our sales calls actually.
You went to Dunedin University?
Yes,
Otago?
yeah.
Yep.
So I'm born and bred from Otago. Grew up in a small town, farming town, Balclutha, an hour south of Dunedin, and have been in Dunedin most of my life with the exception of a few stints overseas.
Any projects that have gone bad?
Not the sorry, I shouldn't have hesitated there.
Tell me about the room that's underneath. Is that going to be quite dark?
And lots 3 to 11.
Yeah.
It will have the balcony above it, so it will limit the direct light into the room a little bit. The compromise is the fact that it's got a big branch slider basically out onto the patio. So still lots of space for natural light.
And my key thing here is that they feel quite expensive. So 679. So that sort of pricing, wouldn't an investor just buy in Auckland?
Yeah, so in terms of pricing, and that's common feedback we do get when people come to Dunedin. They are surprised by the prices. Fundamentally, it's a demand and supply issue. Okay, and so in Dunedin, they estimate that we need around 600 homes a year to be built just to keep pace with population growth, and that doesn't take into account that Dunedin has the oldest average age of housing stock in the country, with 1 in 5 homes built pre-1920. On average, over the last sort of 5 years, Dunedin as a whole has only been building around 385 homes required. So the values are definitely up there. I get that, but Dunedin is experiencing really good growth. It has been over the last decade, and it's going to continue because we've got some of the country's biggest infrastructure projects, like the Dunedin Hospital build, which is a $1.4 billion project, going to take a decade underway at the moment in the city.
So it's a relatively small number in my mind to close that gap of the supply issue. A few big players enter the market, all of a sudden there isn't that shortage. Capital growth isn't going to continue at the same rate.
You always hear stories of people thinking that there are opportunities in Dunedin that they come down and fix that.
I don't work on stories, I work on facts.
Yeah, and the facts are that there have been plenty of developers that have come down and thought, oh yes, we'll increase the supply because there's this shortage there that the council keeps saying, and they often end up leaving the city again.
Okay, let's talk about the numbers. So this project, you're an accountant by trade. You buy this property today, you get your $650 a week, you've got $10,000 worth of operating costs, property management rates, insurance, etc. What's my top up per week going to look like?
That's a really good question. Now, your top up obviously will vary depending on,
Borrowing 100%.
Borrowing 100%.
Like most investors do.
Yep. I don't actually know that number off the top of my head, but I would say it'd be in the vicinity of around $250 a week.
$500.
$500.
$500 a week.
Right.
Does that make it a good investment?
Yeah, that's a good point. Look, all I can really, I'm no economist, so I'm not going to pretend to predict where house prices are going to go. All I can say is that we're in a situation where we've got the highest cost of capital that we've had in a decade, and the slowest property market we've had in a decade. There are indications, that there will be rate cuts maybe late this year and into next year, and at that point we'll start to see upward pressure on the homes. In terms of the performance of the city as a whole at the moment, I can only draw you to the recent CoreLogic data, which shows Dunedin has had the highest average house price growth over the last 12 months.
Great, so an investor's already missed that growth.
Well, you could say that, or you could say it's on a trajectory.
That.
Yeah.
You're saying that.
But it shows that basically there's a trajectory of growth, right? So we're now in winter, and Dunedin has achieved, last month alone, has achieved the highest average house price growth.
Don't you have a saying about that, Mickey?
Yeah, so one day of rain doesn't make it a wet winter. But I think, to be frank, Charles, the numbers in winter in terms of CoreLogic data can be skewed. Lower sale numbers, often you'll get the tail end of some of the sales coming out of summer, high price properties, etc. That can change the median, right? So I don't think it's wise taking 1 month of data.
One set of data.
One set of data.
Let's talk about the short-term accommodation, because I didn't ask about that before. Do you say 11%, like $1,500? How much?
9 to 13%.
Yes, 9 to 13%.
So call it
estimated
11.
gross
That's
rental yields.
$1,500 a week in income.
Yes.
That's ludicrous.
Well, look, again, those estimates are based off short-term rental assessments from the biggest player in the short-term accommodation management game in Dunedin.
What's the occupancy based on your 9 to 13%
Yeah.
range? What's their occupancy?
The occupancy is based on 70% occupancy during the summer months and 40% occupancy during the winter.
So across the year, 9 to 13%, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yep.
So it's an average of $300 a night, I get, roughly?
Yes,
$300 a night for a 2-bedroom townhouse.
correct.
That you've got to walk up a hill to get to.
Yeah, you got to walk a hill everywhere in Dunedin, though.
Where I come to on this, Charles, is if I buy one of these for an Airbnb option, the likelihood of me having 10 other people competing against me for a nightly rate is much, much higher. What do you say to that?
So the Airbnb model in new townhouses is quite new in Dunedin. This is only our second development that we've sold under this model. In our last development, which is only 800 metres up the hill of 9 townhouses, they have all been sold to investors, all 9 of them, and only 2 of them went to people that were prepared to do Airbnb.
So the data, the occupancy rate of 70% in the summer, that's based on 2 units, is it?
That data is based on the rental assessment that Edinburgh Realty put together.
And how many do they manage?
I don't know that number, sorry.
Right, so it could be 2.
It's definitely not 2, but
Could be 3.
yeah.
Talk to me about some of the key projects in Dunedin.
So Dunedin at the moment has a few big things going on, predominantly being all government and institution backed, which is the backbone of Dunedin, because it has the large university and hospital. People don't realise that the hospital being built in Dunedin at the moment, it will be the largest hospital in New Zealand, and that's because of the region that it serves all of Otago and Southland. So it's a $1.4 billion project, the largest infrastructure project in the city at the moment, and is expected to take 10 years. Off the back of that development, the university is also looking to basically build a new health campus in and around the new hospital. So that's sort of the health precinct and what's going on there. And then you've also got some other major construction going on in the city. There's a new ACC building being built in there at the moment. And the DCC is also finally getting some gorse out of their pockets and upgrading all of the infrastructure.
So a risk with the change in government, are these projects going to slow down?
No, look, both governments, whether National or Labor, over the past decade, have stood really well, have stood behind the Dunedin Hospital rebuild. It's really urgent now, it's really pressing. Demolition of the sites has already been done, and construction's already began.
How many workers are you expecting needing accommodation in Dunedin because of that?
At its peak in 2026, they're expecting 1,500 workers, new workers to the city to be required.
Does that mean you get this rush for rental properties for a 10-year period, and then the next 10 years you don't get that same rush?
Possibly. We're starting to predict a long way out.
I thought you didn't have a crystal ball.
Sorry, yeah, exactly why my hesitation. But to give you an idea of the amount of workers that they're wanting that come in for the hospital build, at one point there was talk about hiring a cruise ship and having a cruise ship permanently in the harbour to house these workers.
But I'm concerned that now this is a bit of a flash in the pan. This is going to be a gold rush, and then overnight it becomes a ghost town again.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be a pressure point over the next decade. But the population growth forecast for Dunedin is a steady 1 to 1.5% a year, which still requires that 600 homes a year to be built.
It's decision time. Will the deal makers do a deal? If 2 out of 3 deal makers say yes to the deal, then Charles's properties will be available for you to invest in. If not, Charles goes home empty-handed.
Okay, I can make a decision. I think that for my money, I'm going to get a similar yield in Auckland. Auckland's more undervalued. Dunedin's overvalued. This isn't a deal for me. Sorry, Charles.
That's fine. Thanks, Andrew.
Really?
It's overvalued.
It's overvalued right now. But what's to say it won't be overvalued in 3 years' time? This is a 10 to 20 year investment.
You're an economist now, are you?
No, not at all. I'm trying to be pragmatic.
You got the crystal ball that he doesn't.
Okay.
Always the new deal makers that think they know best.
Let's come to the Duke of Deal's decision.
I like your guarantee, Charles. I like the location of it. I am nervous about the price. From a price point, I know it's close to town and all that sort of thing, but I know that a lot of the similar products down there tend to be transacting between 589 and 629.
You're asking for a discount.
Absolutely. This at 676, I believe you said the pricing was. Is there any chance that we can get this closer to 649?
No, unfortunately not. I'm not sure where you're getting your comparables from, but just to give you some comparables that we've achieved, just up the road, about 800 metres up the road, our Brunel Street development, they are 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom homes with garages. We've been selling them at $680,000.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those ones. Yeah, I'm talking about the car park units. Now, I might not be an economist. I'm certainly not a meteorologist either, but I know it's bloody cold and wet in Dunedin at times. And if I had the choice as a tenant over a garage or a car park, I'm choosing a garage.
But they don't have a choice. It comes down to price.
I know, but I'm trying to get the price down. This is how I'm doing
How's
it.
it going?
Well, we'll find out soon, Andrew, won't we?
Hopefully.
Vanessa, I'm going to let you go and I'm going to have a think.
I don't like guarantees. I feel that they are deceptive and they're not giving a full lay of the land of what you're actually purchasing. I also think that the value that you're, the perceived value that you're adding is false. So I don't like guarantees.
But think about it for your customers though.
I am.
Yeah.
That's who I think about.
The one good thing about this guarantee is at least the real rental appraisal is close to the guaranteed amount. It's not like some of those ones that we all know where the rental guarantee is $1,000 a week, but the real rent's $700 a week.
What I like is that you backed it up. And so that was really what I wanted to question, is whether or not you would go in on it. And you did. I also like that you've split your skill set across the three different parties, the three different directors, and you're very clear on what each person's role is and what each part that they play. You understand inherently Dunedin and what's going on. I think maybe a little bit more knowledge on the numbers, specifically in relation to property investment, would have come along stronger. But I can see that you've done your due diligence on the project, and for that reason, I'd like to do a deal.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Comes down to you now, Princess.
The thing is, Charles, I'm teetering on the edge, all right? I like you, but I'm nervous,
Yes.
okay? So to get me there, work with me here. Let's sharpen them up. For the first 5 sold, can we get a sharper deal? Of those rare 9 units.
I'd be prepared to do a sharper deal on the first 3. For you, Mickey, we'd do $10,000 off
That's what you asked for.
the first 3 sold.
So confirming the deal for the first 3 units contracted,
Yep,
you will do them at 665,
correct.
and then after that we'll have another hard chat.
Yeah, we'll see where the lay of the land is then.
Okay, cool. I'm happy to do a deal.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
So with a bit of negotiating and a Duke of Deals discount, Charles has got the deal he came for. The deal makers think these properties are a good investment, and they now are available for you to invest in at thedeal.co. Let's see how Charles is feeling after that grueling grilling.
Charles, congratulations on doing a deal.
Thanks, Ed.
Now, you thought Vanessa was going to be the toughest, but Mickey was the one who made you drop your pants and drop your price. Did it turn out that he was the toughest of the 3?
Yeah, look, it definitely surprised me that because, I still think the value and the yield is really, really competitive in the current market. But, to get the deal across the line, I'm happy we made that decision.
Yeah, you and every other developer stands behind the prices you want to charge. Okay, now that we've done a deal, as we said, these properties are going to be available for people watching the show. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm thrilled with it.
Right, Charles, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Ed, very much. Cheers.
These properties are now available at thedeal.co.